So this is Kal Kat the Kal Katster. And I have just watched earlier today in pieces. I've watched it eventually all through the pilot for Transformers Lexicons. 77 minutes roughly pilot. Fanime is in just a few days. And there is one famous person in here in the list of authors for the next time around. But aside from the ones, there are two that were in the other one. So I still don't want to give the person's full real name on there. I will use their pseudonym in the credits as well. I don't know what I'm going here. For the other story. Unlike the last episode where I could mention Bobby Crothers because she's well known. So these others. Let me see something. I think I went over the bizarre. Let's just use their pen names because we're going to use pen names here too. The names, I was looking them up to see if I could find them all. And Artemis Prime I found. Because if you look for her later pseudonym, Cavalier, you'll find out who this is. She's famous. She's well known in the art community for Transformers fanfic art. Just about anything that you've seen with Hot Rod Springer and RC together, it's her. It has Cavalier and Artemis Prime. She has a character that she calls in it Artemis Prime, or Artemis, of course, a self-made character. But there actually is an Artemis in Transformers. In the Japanese continuity, there's an Artemis who's sort of a demigod. That's, of course, a Japanese schoolgirl, of course, and she has powers, and she fights Galvatron and other people. Of course. In this case, though. The story that it's based on was written when she was 26, approximately 20 years ago. So, do the math. So that's fine. Anyway, so you can probably figure out what that is. Also, some of her designs are similar to Windblade enough that you could say that she's one of the people that thought of Windblade. So this is the Windblade person. Actually, was the other one. Actually was the Night Racer one. This is Windblade. Windblade. That Transformer is this person. Yeah. Artemis Prime. Yeah. No. So I won't give the real name. It's on Lexicon if you want to go look it up. I did lots of Transformers art. I should go looking for the actual name of the convention. The Fanime. Maybe she'll. Who knows? Maybe she'll. That'd be awesome. Get some of her art. Yeah, but I doubt she'd give permission for one of her stories to be used in some guy's random fanfic thing. Well, the next story is Chihuahua 1 that she wrote. I looked it over, and it might be problematic to film it. So we'll see whether it's filmable. Maybe we'll just change it enough so it's all Kal Kat. It's because of the characters that are in it. In her character that's in it. Should it be Windblade instead? Should it be, somebody else? We had to do that with some of those other ones from last season, the other season too. We had to change some of them around. Most notably, the Corrosion War without end. We weren't allowed to use Rob Power's actual first main characters, so we changed the names to Draconis Prime and Maxis Carta and stuff, so we could get away with it. Now with this one, we have who has a cameo in the last story. So then we come to Katie Cooper. Couldn't find anything on that guy. Portal. Aeliron or Aliorion, the Nadarite Gate. That's another episode. I'm figuring that this person's name is Allison, and that they just did, because it's similar enough. And it's a play on Aileron, the Autobot fanfic character, and it's probably him. In which case, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, that story. So we don't really need to worry about that. Just use it. Chromia 311 of the Obscure Mission, and other stories. A lot of other stories in this one. Can't find anything on her at all. It's a lady. I can't find anything on her at all. Now it appears that a Cavalier or a Artemis Prime here's last tweet on Twitter was 2018, so it's 3 years ago. Maybe COVID got her. In which case, we can use it. But, I don't know. Let's see. The Jazzy is all over. We can't figure out who that is. Again, she's done other stuff. She's doing something here. It isn't necessarily an error in the credits of the latest episode that You Can't Go Home Again was used. It seems that title was used twice. It was used. Two different people used that title. And one of them was the person from the story, so it's fine. As one of the, in the byline. Nothing big, you don't need to change anything. Just leave it. Eliri is TF 2005, as is Chromia 311. But TF 2005, 20 years ago, 18 years ago. When they were in their 20s, I'm presuming. Early 20s. Yeah, so if they're still around, then doing other stuff. They're probably not even aware that their stories are out there. The reason that Artemis Prime Cavalier had something is she's done a bunch of stories, so she has a character bio on the website. The question is, would Kal Kat submit to Lexicon? I don't think Lexicon is opened anymore. It appears that the last official thing on there is about 2015. So, no, he can't put up anything. Probably put up his own stuff. Well, maybe not. Probably not. I probably won't put up my own stuff because it would be considered kind of an AdSense thing. I'd rather you just watch the all Transformers mush and Lexicons. That's my stuff that I'm putting out. Basically, live action versions of the stuff. I liked this episode. It was, you should have realized that over a year ago when we wrapped the last one. And decimated Springer in the Battle of the Carta, that we weren't going to keep him dead, that he was going to be alive. He will be part of this season, and he'll be in this next episode too. So he's not dead. You should realize that. We're not going to kill him off. We're going to figure out a way to bring him back. So we figured out a way to bring back Chassis. Is another character. But that's a little problematic because of that. So there was this tacked down ending about them going back to the bar, the hangout, the robot bar. The robot bar that's out from the other. Yeah, it's not just Rob Jung that thought of that. It was in the show. It was in G1. Autobop. What's the name of one episode that took place there? And some other stuff. Yeah. So. But there was a Cybertron version, I guess, that was referenced in some of the other stuff. That was different, but this still wasn't one of the authors. That was in the show. We'll see at Fanime if there's anything new and exciting. We don't necessarily need to use the characters as they appeared, and probably shouldn't. If they're their fan story character and they're in there as something, then is it cool or not? I mean, technically it's their character, the original character, within the context of Transformers, whereas Transformers would be Hasbro's property. So we'd have to change things around anyway. Can't just say, oh, I'm going to put this guy in here, because you can't do that. No. That would be wrong. But we will list the pseudonym names of all these people as in the stories, and not the real ones. We only found one real name anyway. We kind of have the Jazzy's real name somewhere, but it's probably not them. But it is interesting that Artemis Prime, or Cavalier, is an artist on DeviantArt and several other places. And also, Ellie Ree is also an artist. So. Ellie Ree is also an artist. A lot of female authors this season. Looks like, yeah, like most of them. So all those the angry misogynist men out there that get butthurt by having women authors writing stuff that's woke are not going to like this season for being extremely woke. It's unlike Joss Whedon, who was pretending to be a feminist, actually are. We're solid feminist, so we're going to do stuff that's about heroic females. They'll have to deal with it. Some of them that come back from the dead, like space aliens. And it could tie in. Maybe Chassis assumes the role of this other person or something. Just to avoid confusion. Maybe that's what happens. These are go through the whole series doing this. They're not all connected stories. They're not supposed to be, but you can watch each individually. Except for Corrosion, which in good case you have to watch all 7. And they do have kind of a continuing series theme. And there were originally 17 season 1 and 11 season 2. Looks like this one's going to be 7 or 8. Next season, another 7 or 8. But only because there's a lot of two-parters. And that might change. It might be that a lot of the two-parter stuff isn't really 2 parts. It's that there's a lot of fluff in there that we couldn't get to. That's possible. So we'll see. It's either a long season of 11 or 12 episodes, or it's 2 separate ones with about 7 episodes. We'll see. Anyway, this is Kal Kat the Calcaster, and that was a little update on behind the scenes between the episodes of this series.